down. It is. It's beautiful. I love it. They were dynamited up to make the lumber. And after the boys grew up and quit playing fort, Daddy and I pulled them apart. And you can see, especially the front, how flat this bed is. And it's the one I really, really need to raise back up. But some hostas will normally grow huge like this one. Some hostas normally stay really small like the ones around the edges. And it's just a good variety of color and texture, especially when you just got a green area. You want to make it interesting with all the different green colors and shapes and things like that. Right here, that's an ice plant. It's done really nice right there. It's a type of succulent. Yeah, dump it and plant it. We sell it by the bag and by the scoop. You can get a whole truck full.
Okay.
These are the black elephant ears, and they can grow in the sun, they can grow in the shade. They like it everywhere. I haven't found a spot that these things didn't like. The hydrangea is called Endless Summer. It's one of the ever-blooming hydrangeas. Probably 5 years. The first 2 years I was not impressed. I was not impressed. Notice the yard art. I love my yard art. And a lot of it I get from the nursery because it's broken or something. But I think it still looks good. You know, pay attention. This little clematis right here, a bird planted it there. I was so impressed. He did a good job. You see, here's the daisies with the grow-throughs, and I didn't deadhead them just for y'all. The Gaillardia has been excellent. The more you keep it deadheaded, see the little round balls at the bottom, that's the things I need to deadhead to encourage it to bloom. It'll just keep blooming. The outdoor art, we have at the nursery, I love it. It's on aluminum. It doesn't fade. It can stay outside in the weather. There's soil Morse crystals I put in the bottoms of all my pots now. And they start off like rock salt, where you make ice cream. And when they get through absorbing water, they're the size of a round dime. And the root, it will help the roots when you forget to water. They'll be used to going down there and attacking some of those to get their water out. Susie taught me the idea of stacking pots, which makes, you know, I like that little pot because it's got a lot of age to it. But by itself, it just doesn't show. But the stacking the pots really works nicely. And the bottom one was one that broke to smithereens. And I just went wild and it all went back together. So I thought, hey, what the heck? This is another shade bed. But you can put some color in shade beds. So, you know, think about the few things that have color. Bleeding hearts are good for shade and have a lot of pretty color too, along with the impatiens. Anything labeled verbena, veronica, or salvia, you can't miss. And the reason I like it, there's some more there, and a lot of it's coming up in the field out there. It reseeds, so it's never in the same place. I've seen 5 yellow finches on one plant. It just makes it with that pretty purple color and the yellow, the finches is great. And play with this when you go by. It's lemon verbena. It is the lemoniest plant I have found. It just smells fantastic. Yeah. And it makes the pruning chore is wonderful. The spotted things or calla lilies, like the brides like to carry. I have some solid leaf ones and some speckledy ones. If you get one calla lily, don't worry, you will have more. That is a kind of allium. It smells like garlic. The scapes tend to dip and come back up, and as the balls get bigger, it's really cool. That's a crinum, the white right there. And you'll see my dead daffodil foliage, or my dying daffodil foliage, my dying Dutch Iris foliage. It's hard, but you really want to leave the foliage because that's what makes the bulb ready to bloom again next year. If you cut the foliage off too quick, or some people tie it up, that's not good for it. You won't get your flowers next year, or you will get puny flowers because, just let it sit around ugly. This birdbath looking thing used to be a fountain that somebody left over the winter with water in it, and it cracked, and so I got it. Spirea, there's a whole lot of different spireas, and I got this one because I like the leaves, and you can tell I hadn't cut the dead out, but I like the leaves a lot on that one. I don't know how everybody else is, but the German iris, my blue ones bloom first, my yellow or gold next, and then my red. Oh, okay. What's that? Thank you, I knew it was an O. The oleander, this winter, you can see where it got hurt on the tips, but it doesn't ever kill it. And that's two different ones. That's a light pink, that's the bigger, and the dark pink is blooming now. And I won't get any bloom this year because of the heavy cold, but it'll be here next year. You have to be careful. If they like their spot, they'll really move all their friends in. I keep having to whack it away from the sprinkler head because it ties it up. I don't know the name of it, I forget, but it's some type of lily that a little stem comes up and about this much of flower up and down.
Pineapple or something.
Yeah, there are pineapple lilies, but aren't they white?
Like
Those are leftover stems from something else. But the clematis, most of the clematis come back from the dead looking stems. And I like to put a mandevilla in because the clematis will not bloom all summer. And a lot of people with mailboxes, or my mom used to suggest, because I love clematis, but then it was ugly in the winter. She would say plant a Confederate jasmine and a clematis together, and then you'll have green foliage all the time, and then two sets of bloom. The thing with Gerber daisies is they tend to drop down into the soil, but they don't like it there. They should be kind of on a little hill, especially so the crown is a teeny bit above ground, and that's better, otherwise they'll rot. And if you keep them deadheaded, they bloom more and more. And I found out, they say full sun, but if you have them in afternoon shade, they're happier, much happier. Lemon zest. There's a couple of different kinds of hydrangeas that have the limey leaves, and it just if you're in a shady area, it's like turning on a light bulb. It's a type of sedum. It came from my grandmother's house. It's like Vera Jane's is the one that's the name of one that's a solid leaf, but hers is the only variegated one that I've seen. This is another salvia, Black Knight. It's that dark indigo blue color. The butterflies and the hummingbirds just love it. The ajuga, it was on the list as being a little bit pesty, but I haven't found it to be pesty. we've gotten to where we like this little tiny border grass. That's an azalea. It's cat whiskers. I planted it because I like the name.